And welcome to another edition of Visit Las Cruces Live, the Real New Mexico podcast. My name's Ed Carnathan, your host. We're going to take a look at behind the scenes of upcoming events here in Las Cruces, ideas on fun things to do, tourism travel insight, event support, and a whole lot more. We're available on most podcast apps. You can listen online at visitlascruces.com. Very excited to have our guest on today, a good friend that I met 20 some odd years ago, one of Las Cruces sports legends, and that is Louie Burke. Louie, thanks for joining us today, man.
Thanks, Ed. It's a pleasure.
You're one of our sports icons, a professional boxer from the fighting family of Burkes, right? Your dad was a fighter, your brother, you're a fighter. Your mom was a fighter, too. She didn't actually fight in the ring, but she was a fighter.
No, she was a fighter. My sister was the toughest one of all of us.
Right. Now, you came to prominence back in the 80s, right?
Correct.
You were able to capture some titles, have some high-profile fights. Talk about that real quick.
Yeah, well, I started off, I pretty much grew up in the gym. Right. My dad was a coach and later became a coach for the U.S. boxing team, traveled all over the world. And so my brother and I pretty much were born and raised in the gym, practically. You know, that was our daycare. Mm-hmm. And as an amateur, I fought in the Western Olympic trials, and I fought in some national tournaments and was ranked in as high as 3 in the nation at one point in time as an amateur, and then I turned pro right before I turned 19 years old. I think I believe it was in March I had my first pro fight, and then I went on and fought Hector Macho Camacho, Charlie White, Lightning Brown, Freddie Roach during my career.
Right. The trainer, Freddie Roach.
Yes.
He was started off as a boxer as well.
Yeah, and he was tough as nails.
Yeah.
Freddie was tough. And we had some wars. I believe it was 1983's Fight of the Year. Yeah. And it was 12 rounds. It was on ESPN. And it was at that time for the ESPN Championship. They had a tournament. And if you won that tournament, you got into the top 10 in the world. You got ranked. Right. And that's the fight I fought. The first one I fought Freddie, 12 rounds. And then we had a rematch on the undercard of the Hagler-Duran fight at Caesar's Palace. Yeah. And that was a 10-round fight. And I beat him both times. But they were tough fights. And I was it was dead even going into the first fight, going into the 10th round. And I beat him the last 2 rounds. And my understanding is the last fight we had, it was dead even going into the 8th round, and I beat him the last 2 rounds as well. Yeah. So I was always in great condition, right. And that's what pulled me through. Yeah, definitely. To be a boxer, you have to be in great condition. You have to have a great mindset. You got to be able to think on your feet and be able to make split-second decisions in the ring, right? Correct. Yeah, it's a lot of training. Yeah, definitely. And this is a great place. We're in the PAL boxing gym. Of course, this is named after your father, yes. And you've trained many fighters over the years in this very building. Yeah, well, trained world champion Austin Trout, world champion Jennifer Hahn. Now Jennifer's sister Stephanie is getting ready to fight for the world championship February 22nd in El Paso at the Coliseum, and she's training hard. And I've had multiple national champions, C.G. Shabazz, Sam DePace. Austin, of course, was national champions. Jennifer was national champion. Yep. A.B. Hahn, Jennifer and Stephanie's brother, was not only world rated as a professional, but he was also a national champion. Yeah. So we've produced a lot of national champions out of this program. Of course, Austin Trout, probably your most successful guy. Well, the most famous, yeah, most for famous, sure. Yeah, definitely. And we saw you guys with that first big one against Cotto in Madison Square Garden. That was a great fight. Yeah, what a memory. Great memory. That was, it's surreal. Right. You're in Madison Square Garden. You're going into this guy's. It's like going into the lion's den. This guy that was his home away from home. He was from Puerto Rico, but he had never lost at Madison Square Garden, and he beat some great fighters like Paulie Malignaggi and some other great fighters. And Austin went in there and took it to him and dominated, and we came out. It was no question. Austin was the winner of that fight, and it was just such a memorable moment.
What's the difference as a boxer or as a trainer? When you're in a high-profile fight like that, and you're the boxer, then when you're sitting back in the corner and you're the trainer and watching, is there a big difference between the two, or are they pretty similar?
No, it's pretty similar. It's hard not to get caught up in the hype and the stress and a lot more pressure. But as you get more experienced at it, you just realize it's another fight, and that a lot of times that it's better just to approach it that way. That way you don't get caught up in the anxiety and the pressure. It's just another fight, and you still have to analyze what's going on in the ring as quick and efficient as possible.
Sure. Now, you were a firefighter for many years here with the city of Las Cruces, now retired. How long have you been retired now?
I retired a year in October.
Yeah. Okay.
So a little over a year now.
Right. What did you enjoy being a firefighter? Obviously you did.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was a great career. Growing up in Las Cruces, I've always tried to make this a better community. And so as a firefighter, I was there, unfortunately people's worst moments, but it was somebody that a lot of people I recognized and I knew. They were, I grew up with. And so it was a way to make this community a better community and make people feel better in their worst moments. And gosh, I got paid for it. I couldn't believe it. I loved it. I loved, just being part of the community and helping, the best part about it, it's just, trying to make a difference in this community.
You and I have worked together on many different fights here in Las Cruces throughout the years, and we were talking about how we used to have a ton of boxing shows here in town, with the youth and with the professional kids as well. And how cool would it be to bring it back again?
Yeah.
I think we can do it.
I agree 100% with what you're saying. We have a lot of talent. We have probably more talent than I've ever seen in this border region. We have multiple national champions. The female boxing has just blown up. It's exploded. And the border region is really a hub for female boxing. We have numerous national champions, and there's a couple out of El Paso, a couple out of Las Cruces. Not just a couple, but there's these
top level,
and it's amazing. And I'm really proud. And we also have on the male side, we also have some great male boxers. Some out of El Paso, some out of Las Cruces, but the talent is here. We just have to support them, locally and back them up, and that's all it takes.
I think we're going to move forward with this, Louie. I think the conversation you and I had before we came on this show, I would love for us to be able to get it back to where it was, having fights in the Pan Am Center, having the fights in other facilities, bringing all kinds of people to town and selling out the hotels and putting on some great entertainment here in Las Cruces.
No, I agree, and like I said, we have the talent, and I believe we have the backing as well, the fan base and the support, the business support behind it. Bring more people into Las Cruces on these events. It'd be good for business, good for exposure to Las Cruces. I think it's a win-win situation.
Well, let's talk about this building and what you guys do for youth here. Now, you're training several days throughout the week, almost all week long. You guys are bringing in youth. You're training them. You're helping them, pick themselves up. Maybe some troubled youth out there, and you guys are really doing some great work.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. My hats off to all the coaches throughout the city, the other programs that help these youth that could be going astray into getting themselves into some bad situations. Boxing is already very well documented, very well proven that boxing does make a difference and teaches these kids a structure, teaches them discipline and how to achieve goals. And that's our goal. To when we get these kids in, to build up their self-esteem in a positive manner, to help them, guide them, mentor them, so they make better citizens in this community and have a better life. And it's been a successful program. We've been very lucky. There's a lot of kids that would have easily have gone into the wrong direction if it wasn't for this program. I know as a youth, it helped me a lot in developing discipline and knowing what sacrifices I had to make in order to achieve my goals. Yeah. And that's what we try and instill in these kids.
Obviously, like you said, kids have energy, kids are curious. Mm-hmm. Out there a long time ago, Art Monsivius, you remember Art?
Oh, great guy, yeah.
Great guy. That's what he said to me one day. I had him on for a television program, and he said, kids are curious. You gotta help them find the right thing, right? And that's obviously what you guys are doing here.
Yeah. Well, I've always said you have to kind of cultivate what I call the 3 A's in these kids: athleticism, academics, and the arts. And it doesn't make a difference. And once they find a passion that's positive, we need to cultivate that for them. We've got to help them move forward with that. So in order for them to distract them from getting into any type of trouble, if they find a passion that's positive, let's help them. Let's put into it, because either we pay now or we're going to pay later.
Right.
And when we have to pay later, it's a lot more, and it's not, a lot of times it's not the best. It's not positive.
Right.
If we have to pay, the jails, these people that end up in jail, whatnot, or having them, graffiti or break into our cars or whatever, break into houses. We have to get them into doing something positive.
Hey, when it's all said and done and you walk away, obviously you retired as a firefighter. Eventually, I imagine you'll retire from training and boxing as well. What do you want your legacy to be?
Just that I was a positive aspect to this community. That's it. Just that I was able to give something back. Because I love this place. This is home. I'm born and raised. My family's born and raised. Their family's born and raised. Have deep roots here, and I've seen a lot of change. Not all of it for the good. But, we've got to keep positive and keep moving forward. And what I touch, I want to make positive.
Sure, absolutely. Well, if people out there they have a son or daughter and they're thinking about trying to get them into the training and everything, what's the best way to go about that? Is there a website, a phone number they can call?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page, and we're building a web page as we speak. Right. So they can get on, it's Las Cruces Police Athletic League boxing, and they can get on that. And I think our Facebook page is Las Cruces Pal Boxing. Right. But they're welcome to come at 700 North Solano from 5:30 to 7. It's a free program from kids that are age 8 to 18. And the beginners start Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then the competitive team is every day, Monday through Friday. And our sparring days are Tuesdays and Thursdays.
All right, there you go. Louie, thank you so much for being a part of our show.
Well, thanks, Ed.
We appreciate
thanks for inviting me.
We always have the final question when we're at the end, and there's no right or wrong answer, okay? So don't think you're not going to be graded on this, okay? All right, now when you talk to somebody that's never been to Las Cruces before, they never lived here, they weren't born here, what do you tell them is your favorite thing about our area?
The people are the nicest people in the world.
Yeah.
Because I've lived all over the place when I was boxing, and there's no place like Las Cruces. Yeah. People are genuine, and they're friendly, and they go out of their way to help you out. Best place in the world.
There we go.
Very nice. We got the beautifulest mountains in the world as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. We're surrounded by beauty, and the people are beautiful as well.
Absolutely, 100%.
Louie, thank you so much, man. You're a good friend, and I was so excited when you said you'd do the podcast with us, and it's just great to have you on. You're a great guy, a great father, a great person, and a great trainer, and a great boxer. We could just go on.
Well, thanks, Ed. You're a great guy, too.
Thanks.
Big Ed.
Big Ed, that's right. Louie Burke, our guest. That's going to do it for another edition of Visit Las Cruces Live, the Real New Mexico podcast. Again, you can watch this for free on most podcast apps, youtube.com, and also online at visitlascruces.com. That's going to do it for another edition. I'm your host, Ed Carnathan. We'll catch you next time right here on Visit Las Cruces Live, the Real New Mexico podcast.